You were 24 years old, $112 in your checking account. Rent due Monday. An email from HR sitting unread in your inbox about something called a 401. You scrolled past it, not because you were lazy, not because you were stupid, because retirement felt like someone else's problem. A problem for the version of you that didn't exist yet, 40 years away. In a life you couldn't picture, from an apartment that cost $1,550 a month and a student loan that hit like clockwork on the 22nd. So you waited, and the system kept running without you, quietly, automatically, indifferently. It didn't punish you for ignoring it. It didn't send you a bill. It just moved forward, compounding, growing, building for everyone who was inside it. While you were outside, this is what the next 40 years look like when you finally stop waiting. The renter. The number on your screen is $112. Rent is due Monday. $1,550. Student loan hits on the 22nd. $340. Automatic. No negotiation. You are 24 years old, second month at your first real job. The paycheck was supposed to feel like arrival. It felt like subtraction. HR mentioned the 401 for 90 seconds during onboarding. A woman in a blue cardigan. Between the parking pass and the health insurance slides. You nodded. You wrote nothing down. The enrollment packet went into a folder. The folder went into a drawer. The drawer hasn't been opened since week 1. Your employer is offering a 4% match. You don't know that means free money deposited into an account every single pay period, money that requires nothing from you except the decision to show up. You are not showing up. Every 2 weeks a paycheck arrives. Every 2 weeks $0 goes toward the match. Every 2 weeks the gap between where you are and where you could be gets slightly, invisibly, irreversibly wider. The system is not waiting for you to feel ready. It is simply running. Without you inside it, the night everything changed. 9:47 on a Tuesday night. You are not doing anything important. Half-eaten bowl of pasta going cold on the coffee table. A video auto-played after the one you actually meant to watch. The guy on screen is not a celebrity, not a finance guru with a whiteboard and a ring light. Just someone your age, talking about a number. $340 a month. That is all he contributed at the beginning. 3 years later, his account is sitting at $22,000. He does the math on camera. Slowly, without drama. You pause the video. You do the math yourself. Something moves in your chest that is not quite excitement and not quite panic. The specific feeling of realizing you have been standing outside a room that was never locked. At 11:15 p.m., you open the HR portal. The login takes 3 attempts. You forgot the password. You reset it. You set contributions to 4%. You pick the 2055 target date fund, because the description says it adjusts automatically. And right now, that is exactly the level of involvement you are capable of. You click submit. The confirmation screen loads in 4 seconds. 4 seconds. 2 years late. 2 years of free money left on a table you didn't know existed. 2 years of a machine that could have been running completely still. But it is running now. And that is the only thing that matters tonight. The most dangerous moment. The new offer comes on a Wednesday morning. $67,000 a year, up from $54,000. Better title. 12 minutes shorter commute in a city where 12 minutes means something. You accept before the end of the day. Last week at the old job is unremarkable. You return a keyboard. You say goodbye to 4 people you actually meant it with. Then HR sends the separation packet. Most of it is standard. One section stops you cold. Your 401k balance, $14,200. 60 days to decide what to do with it. The packet lays out the options in clean bullet points. Direct rollover, indirect rollover, or distribution, which is the word they use instead of cash out because cash out sounds like exactly what it is. You run the numbers in the parking garage on your phone. After the 10% early withdrawal penalty, after federal taxes, after state, you walk away with around $9,400. $9,400 is 3 months of rent. The security deposit on a better apartment. A number you can see and touch and spend on a Friday afternoon when it hits your bank. You think about it for 11 days. You tell yourself you will contribute more later when you earn more. You almost believe it, but something stops you. An article, a thread, a number you didn't expect to see, and on day 12, you choose the direct rollover. Every dollar moves. Nothing lost. Nothing taxed. The full $14,200 lands in your new plan like it never left. You enroll in the new 401 on your very first day. 4% contribution. Same target fund. No delay. Not even one day. This is the moment most people quietly destroy years of growth without realizing what they are doing. Not a market crash. Not a bad investment. Just a job change. A lump sum that feels real. And the completely human impulse to turn an abstract number into something you can actually use right now. You almost did. You didn't. That decision, made in a parking garage across 11 days of back and forth, will be worth more than you can calculate from where you are standing today. The night the math finally lands. You are 33. Balance at $41,000. 6 years across 2 jobs, 2 apartments, 1 cross-country move, 1 market drop that cost you 3 weeks of sleep. Still at 4%. Never changed it after that Tuesday night with the cold pasta. Then, a raise. $8,000 more a year. Not life-changing money. Enough to matter. You bump contributions to 9% on a Monday morning before you can talk yourself out of it. Keep the rent the same. Keep the groceries the same. Upgrade nothing. The extra percentage disappears before your hands ever touch it. This is the first real decision you make inside the retirement system. Not luck. Not inertia. A choice with a reason behind it. 6 weeks later, you log in out of curiosity. The balance moved in a way that doesn't match your arithmetic. You contributed $580 that month. The account went up $1,340. You stare at that for a long time. You open a calculator, multiply the balance by 0.07, divide by 12. The number that comes back is almost exactly what the account just did on its own. You do it again to make sure. Same answer. This is the moment you have read about, but never actually felt. The paragraph in every personal finance article that talks about compounding like it is a concept. It is not a concept anymore. It is $1,340 in a single month that came from nothing, except a balance that already existed and time that was already passing. The money is making money. Not because you did anything new. Not because the market had a spectacular month. Because the number got big enough that the math started doing the work you used to do manually. You read the same explanation 3 times that night. On the third read, it lands differently. A strong quarter runs. You gain $7,200 without touching a single thing. You close the laptop and watch television like a person who did not just understand something that will quietly restructure the rest of his financial life. By 36, the balance crosses $95,000. You screenshot it. Stare at it for 2 days. Delete it. Don't send it to anyone. Don't post it. Don't mention it at dinner. The silence around this number is not accidental. You have watched what happens when people talk about money. The conversations go nowhere useful. The relationships get strange. The questions start coming from directions you didn't expect. The silence is the discipline. You keep contributing. You keep not touching it. The machine does what machines do when you leave them alone long enough. It grows, quietly, automatically. The same way it ran without you at 24, except now you are inside it. The machine outgrows you. The balance crosses $100,000 on a Thursday afternoon. You are 38, eating lunch at your desk. You open the app for no particular reason, and the number is just there. 6 figures. In an account you opened at 11:15 p.m. on a Tuesday night, with a forgotten password and cold pasta going stale on the coffee table. You take a screenshot. Look at it. Delete it. Finish your lunch. That evening you open the IRS contribution limits page. $23,000 per year. The maximum the government allows you to shelter from taxes inside a 401. You have never come close to it. You change the percentage on a Sunday night before you can negotiate with yourself. Monday morning it is done. $23,000 a year. Disappearing before you see it. Before you can want it for something else. The lifestyle does not change. Your friends are renovating kitchens. Buying bigger cars. You are driving the same car you bought 4 years ago. You take 1 good trip a year, and you mean it. The gap between what you earn and what you spend goes entirely into the machine. And the math has changed completely. A 7% return on $180,000 is $12,600. You contribute $23,000. The market adds $12,600 on top. The account grows $35,600 in a single year, more than your entire salary at your first job. Then, the market drops 17% in 4 months. Balance falls from $196,000 to $163,000. $33,000 gone. Not spent. Not lost to a bad decision. Just gone because markets do what markets do. You feel it. You don't move anything. Not because you are calm, because you have been here before. Because you know not as theory, but as lived experience, that the account recovered last time. You close the laptop, go to dinner, talk about something else. 14 months later, the balance is back above $210,000. You did nothing. That was the move. By 42, you are approaching $260,000. Contributions automatic. Fund rebalancing without your input. The machine running on the same logic it always has. Time. Consistency. Stillness. You have stopped being the person who runs the machine. You have become the person the machine runs for. Protecting. Then planning. Something changes around $300,000. Not in the market, in you. For 20 years, the goal was simple. Contribute. Don't stop. Don't touch it. Let time do what time does when you leave it alone with compounding. That goal hasn't disappeared, but a second one has arrived quietly beside it. Don't break what's working. You are 45 years old, and you spend a Saturday morning reading 2 different perspectives on international equity exposure, and find yourself disagreeing with one of them for reasons you can actually articulate. You read 3 books that year, dense, specific books about asset allocation and sequence of returns risk, books with charts, books that assume you already understand the basics and are ready for the next layer. You form opinions you didn't expect to have. You shift 12% of your allocation toward bonds. Not because the target date fund told you to, because you read, compared, thought about your specific timeline, and decided that is different from following instructions. That is a strategy. Then the market drops 24% in 7 months. Balance falls from $388,000 to $295,000. $93,000 gone. The largest single dollar loss you have ever seen inside this account, larger than your entire balance was just 8 years ago. You sit with that number on a Wednesday evening and feel the full weight of it in a way you haven't felt since the early days when every drop felt like a personal verdict. You don't sell. You don't move to cash. You don't change a single thing. What you do is keep contributing. Every paycheck, every 2 weeks, into an account that is worth less than it was 7 months ago. Buying at lower prices, while every headline confidently explains why it will keep falling. You keep buying. 15 months later, the balance crosses $420,000. Nothing heroic. No brilliant move. No signal you read correctly that the market missed. You simply stayed inside the machine during the months when staying felt worst. That was always the whole secret. You turned 50 on a Saturday in November. No identity crisis. No confrontation with mortality. Just a quiet Saturday where your spouse makes your favorite dinner and your kids call, and the day passes the way most significant days actually pass, unremarkably, warmly, faster than expected. The IRS raises your contribution limit to $30,500. You hit it without hesitation. Monday morning. Done. No deliberation. This is no longer a decision. It is a structure. Then 2 things happen in the same year that change the texture of everything. Your youngest finishes college. The mortgage makes its final payment, $3,200 a month, money that was always spoken for, money that had somewhere to be before it ever reached your hands, is suddenly available. The question answers itself. Every dollar goes into the machine. That same year, you open a spreadsheet on a Tuesday night with your spouse. Glass of wine each. House quiet in the way it only gets after the kids are grown. You model retirement at 59, then 61, then 57 just to see. Factor in Social Security at 62 versus 67. Build in healthcare estimates for the gap before Medicare, run inflation scenarios. The conversation lasts 2.5 hours. It is one of the best conversations of your life. You used to say retirement someday. Now you say retirement in 5 years. That is the difference between a dream and a plan. By 58, the balance sits at $810,000. You open the account on a Sunday morning. Read the number, close the app, make coffee, go outside. Retirement is not someday anymore. It is the spreadsheet already built, the date already circled. It is real. The day work becomes optional. The statement arrives on a Thursday morning. You are 61. Sitting at the same kitchen table where you ran the retirement numbers 5 years ago. Same coffee brand. Same chair with the small scuff on the left leg from when your youngest dragged it across the floor at a holiday dinner in 2019. Everything is ordinary. You open the statement. 7 figures. You read it the way you would read a utility bill. Set it down. Pick up your coffee. Look out the window at the yard that needs raking. The neighbor's dog walking circles near the fence. The specific quality of November light that always feels like the year preparing to close. You expected it to feel bigger than this. It feels like a Tuesday. And somehow that is exactly right. Work became optional 14 months ago. Not retired. Optional. You still show up not because you need the income, but because you haven't found a version of not working that feels better than the version of working you have now. That is a kind of freedom with no dramatic announcement attached. It arrived quietly. The way most real things do. You begin planning the withdrawal side. For 37 years, the strategy fit on an index card. Put money in, leave it alone, don't stop. The distribution strategy does not fit on an index card. You read about Roth conversion windows. Tax-efficient moves in the years between retirement and Social Security. You hire a fee-only planner for 6 hours. Not to manage your money, to find what you are missing. She finds 2 things worth adjusting. You adjust them. Safe withdrawal rate, asset location, Roth conversion corridor. These are not terms you read in an article. They are terms you understand from the inside, from years of watching a real portfolio move through real market cycles with real money that was always at every stage yours. One afternoon, your nephew calls. 24 years old. First real job. Has a question about the 401k enrollment packet HR sent him. He almost didn't call. He almost scrolled past the email the same way you did at his age. You talk for an hour and 20 minutes. You don't give him inspiration. You give him math. The specific, unsexy, completely available math that was always inside that packet waiting for someone to open it. Contribute enough to get the full match. Pick the target date fund. Don't touch it. Don't cash it out when you change jobs. Raise the percentage every time you get a raise before you have a chance to spend the difference. That's it. He asks if it really works. You think about a Tuesday night 37 years ago. Cold pasta. A video that auto-played. A guy on screen doing math slowly without drama. A login screen that took 3 attempts. A confirmation screen that loaded in 4 seconds. 4 seconds. You tell him yes. It really works. Somewhere tonight, a 4-year-old is sitting in a new apartment. Rent is $1,550. Student loan hits on the 22nd. Checking account shows $112. HR sent the enrollment packet 3 weeks ago. It is still unread. The system is already running. For everyone inside it, without everyone who is not. It does not punish you for waiting. It does not send a bill. It does not explain what it costs to stand outside the room. It just moves forward. Quietly, automatically, indifferently. The room was never locked. The only thing it ever required was the decision to open the door. 40 years from now, the number on your screen will not feel the way you think it will feel today. It will feel like a Tuesday. Start anyway.